Back on SportsBIT, betting inside today. Follow us on Twitter at Paulie Howard, at Teddy_covers. Time for big game breakdown. As always, live odds, sportsbookreview.com. Doubleheader on TNT, 5 o'clock Pacific. Celtics at home against the Pistons. No line because of Horford. He's supposed to be back, but no sure thing. Teddy's number, Celtics -8 in this one. We're not hot on the Pistons. More on that coming up. But how good has Isaiah Thomas been for the Celtics? Back-to-back wins on Friday and Saturday without Avery Bradley and Horford. 58 points, 16 assists, 6 rebounds. And he's been awesome the last 22 games, averaging 32 points per game. Dynamite.
Yeah, he's got 9 games of 35 or more. Remember, he was hurt. And then he came back, it was December 16th. And he's been as good as anybody in the NBA during that span. Anybody, including James Harden, who do you want to talk about has been the best in the NBA. That's how good Isaiah Thomas has been. And the key on Saturday night, he did not score a single point in overtime, or in the final 4.5 minutes of regulation for that matter. What did he do? He drew double teams, and he got everybody else involved. Jay Crowder, quote, "That speaks volumes, because in the playoffs, it's not going to be easy. We can't depend on him to do everything in the playoffs on the offensive end. That's the bigger picture. That's what good teams do. Find a way to score and find a way to win without their offensive threat." Because remember, without Bradley, without Horford, you make an argument, there's 2 of the Celtics' 4 best players. They got a lot. Celtics are deep. But it's significant that they were able to do what they did without those 2 guys in the lineup. And a lot of that, obviously, is Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, and they got to keep winning because that 2 seed is definitely in play now that they're the 2 seed when they step on the floor tonight. Now, what's wrong with Detroit? 44-38 last year. They were the 8 seed. They were right there with the Cavs, although they were swept 2 of the 4 losses by 5 points or less. Now they're 5 games under 500, tied for last place in the division, and they just lost to Sacramento and Miami back-to-back. Come on.
Well, yeah, they're chalk against 19-28 Sacramento and 18-30 Miami. Instead of improving this year, right now, the Pistons would have to go 23-12 the rest of the way to match last year's 44-38 record. They have declined, and it's gotten worse in recent weeks. This is a last-place team. And I know the Kings are playing a little bit better. I know the Heat are on a winning streak. All of that understandable. But, I backed them on Friday night. I lost my money on Friday night with Detroit. Outscored 26-12 in the 4th quarter to Miami. And I'm telling you, the Heat on the second night of back-to-backs versus the Pistons, who had been off since Monday, as rested as they're going to be at any point from the beginning of the season to the All-Star break. And it was Miami who had the energy and the execution down the stretch on the second of back-to-backs, not Detroit. I'll read that Stan Van Gundy quote real quick. "Down the stretch, you were terrible. We didn't make plays. We've got to find better stuff down the stretch. I don't know if defenses has it figured out or what, but we're just not making plays."
Defense has been the issue. Huge disappointment, giving up 105.4 points per 100 possessions. Reggie Jackson, quote, "We haven't figured it out. I can't remember the last time we held the team under 45% shooting. We haven't done it in back-to-back games. Until we shore things up on the defensive end, it will be tough each night for us to find a way to win," end quote. Well, hey, how about it starts with you? Look at your defense and your real plus-minus.
Yeah, exactly. It might help if Jackson himself simply got in front of the other team's players every once in a while. Look at the numbers. There's 87 players charted for point guard defense. Reggie Jackson, he ranks number 71 on that list. Not good advanced metric numbers for his defense. If you remember, Detroit played pretty good ball in November. They started declining once Reggie Jackson returned to the starting lineup. They have not been better with him than without him this season.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.